5 on Your Side starts now with breaking news.
We begin tonight with breaking news, a live look at the U.S. Capitol, where it appears now that the 40-day government shutdown, the longest in U.S. history, is coming to an end. The Senate voted 60-40 tonight to reopen the government after a critical group of 8 Senate Democratic centrists reached a deal with Republicans in the White House in exchange for a future vote on extending enhanced affordable care subsidies. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush. This agreement would fund the government through January 30th. It would fully fund SNAP, once known as food stamps, through next September. And it also reverses the layoffs of federal workers that occurred during the shutdown. Of course, it still has to be approved by the House and signed by the president, which could take days. It's been a busy Sunday night. It will be a busy Monday morning, but we'll continue following this story as it develops. We'll bring you the latest updates on air on KSDK.com and on the free 5+ app. Now, earlier today, before this breaking news, the Department of Agriculture told states like Missouri and Illinois to stop paying out full SNAP benefits for the month and undo any steps already taken to issue food stamp payments, calling them unauthorized. So here in St. Louis, the Archdiocese launched an emergency food drive this weekend and last. 5 on Your Side's Reagan DeTrolio talked with parish volunteers about how it all went.
Each bag of food Phil and Janet Manhard deliver to food pantries across St. Louis is a sign of hope for those struggling during the government shutdown and loss of SNAP benefits.
One of the pantries we delivered to literally an entire van full of food, thousands of items, and they said it'll be gone the next day.
The Manhards have been attending this parish, St. Gabriel the Archangel, for more than 20 years, and while they're used to hauling bags of food every week, the past couple of weeks especially have brought an outpouring of support.
So where we normally collect a number of maybe 1,000 food items, it was 3 to 4 times that amount.
This is one of the many parishes across St. Louis helping families keep food on the table who might go hungry without it.
Literally 2 van loads, 3 cars full of food, filled to the top and delivered to these places that were in need.
Janet Manhard says she's seen the need for food firsthand.
I think St. Louisans and our neighbors are very responsive to the needs of others.
Each of these sacks of food were donated by churchgoers who want to see their community thrive.
It just blew me away when I saw all the stuff, and we just kept loading and loading and loading, and it was great.
Phil Manhard says these emergency food drives at all the parishes stepped up to help those less fortunate.
People really care about the community, care about the people that live in the community, especially those that are having a tougher time.
And the Manhards are just happy even their smallest acts of service help during this tough time.
It's a good thing that we can do, and every person deserves to have food.
Reporting in St. Louis, I'm Reagan DeTrolio, 5 on Your Side.
Now, just yesterday, the Missouri Department of Social Services told us they plan to pay out SNAP benefits by midweek. We've reached out to them again to see if those plans have changed. We have not yet heard back. Tomorrow, a community meal event will help families impacted by SNAP disruptions. The St. Louis Integrated Health Network and its partners plan to distribute 500 hot meals to families in need. Meal distribution will happen Monday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at several sites. Those include Affinia Healthcare off North Florissant, the Betty Jean Kerr Health Center, Care St. Louis, and the John C. Murphy Health Center. Last week, the group donated another 500 hot meals plus 900 cans of baby formula to families in need across St. Louis City and County. For a list of food pantries in our area, just text the word food to 314-425-5355. We'll send a link directly to your phone. Well, temperatures are dropping dangerously low as we brace for wind chills in the teens tomorrow morning. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is tracking this rapid freeze. Scott.
Well, we've watched those temperatures drop off and the gusty winds bringing in that cold air along with some clouds at times. The heavy snow, though, that's up around Chicago, up around South Bend. That will stay to our north and east. But we're still wrapping around a few flurries. We're still wrapping in the cold air. We're right now in the upper 20s around St. Louis. But that wind, look at your wind chills. 15 to 20 degrees for a lot of us at this point, and the gusty winds are sticking with us through the overnight hours. Is there a weather impact tomorrow? You better believe it. We are in the 20 to 25 degree range, so the hard freeze still expected overnight. It's still breezy through the day tomorrow, which means tomorrow morning when we're at our coldest air temperatures, and the breeze actually helps to keep the air temperature up a little bit, but it drops those wind chills down to 10 to 15 degrees. At least it's above zero. Still a lot of tails lit up there on the aircraft at Lambert, which means we have a lot of delayed flights happening tonight. For Monday morning, temperature about 20 to 26, the wind chill 10 to 20 degrees. Hat, gloves, an extra layer or two. And you still have time to get out there and, take care of your garden hose, but it's getting close. Once we get below 28 for 2 or 3 hours, that water will definitely freeze. Again, tomorrow morning, we are going to be looking at those temperatures only in the 20s out the door with wind chills in the teens. That's cold, Mike.
And as the bitter cold sinks in, Scott, the city is offering emergency shelter for those who need it. The city is working with organizations like the Urban League, Peter and Paul, and Gateway 180 to do this. They're not only opening doors to the homeless, organizers are also welcoming anyone impacted by the May 16th tornado.
We know that there are a number of individuals who are still residing in their damaged homes after the tornado. For those people who do not have a lot of options, we wanted to make sure that we did have some available beds with our partner organizations for those individuals.
If you need shelter, here's what you need to know. Hours are from 6 p.m. to 9 a.m. starting tonight, ending Tuesday, November 11th. But if it's below freezing, shelters will stay open longer. You're encouraged to bring a change of clothes, bedding, medication, and toiletries, but those are not required. These shelters can also help tornado survivors connect with disaster case managers. So for more information, you can call the United Way of Greater St. Louis at 211. They will tell you more about available resources. Police are investigating tonight after a man was killed in Dutchtown. Officers responded to the scene off South Grand and Merrimack around 11:30 last night. That's where they say they found a man in the passenger seat of a car shot. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Police say a witness told them that shooting happened on Dunica Avenue. We're working to get you more information, and when we do, we will bring you an update. And in St. Louis County, police are investigating after a crash killed a horse and injured its rider. Now, this happened at Lindbergh near Candlewick Club Drive around 6:15 last night. When officers arrived, they found out that a car hit a person riding a horse. The horse was pronounced dead at the scene. We don't know yet why the rider was there, but there is a stable in the area. The rider was taken to the hospital, is expected to be okay. Police say the driver was hurt, but not too badly, and is cooperating with the investigation. Multiple businesses in Ferguson off West Florissant were evacuated this afternoon so police could investigate a threat. This happened shortly before 1. Police say they got a call reporting a potential threat at the Walmart. Out of an abundance of caution, that store and nearby Sam's Club were evacuated so emergency responders could check the stores for any bombs or explosives. Police would not tell us what kind of threat was made, but police say they found nothing out of the ordinary. Both stores did open back up. Extra patrols will be posted in the area. A woman in the Metro East is getting ready to take the international stage at the 2025 Tokyo Deaflympics. And today, her co-workers threw her a send-off celebration. Antonia Phillips has been working at the Godfrey Walmart for nearly a year now. But for the last 11 years, she's been working on her wrestling skills. After a standout performance last summer, she qualified to represent Team USA at the U.S. trials in Minnesota. And Phillips tells us she has one goal in mind.
My goal for the Deaflympics is to really help encourage and promote women and deaf women specifically to wrestle. Having deaf women in this Olympic wrestling is really cool. And I really want to show other women that they can do it and it's worth it. And you see how many people will be proud of you if you can succeed.
Antonia leaves for Tokyo tomorrow and will compete in the women's freestyle wrestling competition on Friday. Building a shrine to service.
It's more than a hobby. It's a love.
Countless hours collecting stories to honor those who served.
Even Veterans Day starts out cold, but Tuesday is the day we begin a warming trend for the rest of the week. An update on flurry chances overnight and when we might hear thunder in about a week.
Making a Difference is sponsored by Midwest Bank Center.
Tuesday is Veterans Day, a time to honor those who served. At one Missouri senior care facility, a volunteer has found a unique way to do just that. In tonight's Making a Difference report, the story of an 85-year-old man who refuses to let veteran sacrifices fade into history. At Ellisville Rehabilitation and Nursing, caregivers tend to daily needs. But one volunteer tends to lasting legacies.
I'm kind of patriotic guy.
Inside, there's a room here that looks nothing like the rest. No monitors, no medicine, just memories. It's a shrine to service, a museum of mementos from residents past and present. And the curator is an 85-year-old Good Samaritan who simply couldn't let these stories fade away.
Because I grew up during World War II.
Bob Morris has been a volunteer here for the past 18 years.
And I hung 3 here and 3 on this side.
And he's spent a lot of time talking with residents.
And they went in together in 1946.
Many of whom are veterans.
I never had any relatives killed in the war. So when you hear stories like that, it's a love. I mean, it's a hobby. It's more than a hobby.
Morris is a Vietnam War-era Army veteran himself, an ambulance driver turned cook in the reserves. But this is about honoring everyone else who wore the uniform.
He had 35 years in the Army.
He listens.
These were the veterans that lived here.
He labels, and he learns.
I didn't have to be a man to join the Coast Guard.
Lisa Elam served 6 years in the Coast Guard. When she arrived here as a resident, she noticed something was missing.
I said, where are the females?
So Bob built her a display, complete with a Coast Guard flag.
He doesn't let people know that he's actually a veteran. He just does it for us.
I'm glad I served.
Vietnam veteran Russell Kennan says this tribute is like therapy.
I've had 5 classmates that went to high school. I went to high school with that passed away there. So it's kind of weird, you know.
For Russell, it's a reminder of sacrifice. For Bob, a reminder of why this room matters.
I've never left her upset. I mean, I always walked out of here with a smile on my face.
As a veteran, it brings tears to my eyes.
Because in this room, the past isn't forgotten. It's framed, polished, and saluted.
You're welcome, kid. Thanks for coming down.
Bob Morris reminding us
you're welcome, bud.
That the truest form of gratitude isn't saying thank you for your service. It's making sure that service is never forgotten. And the facility holds an annual Veterans Day ceremony each year, and Bob's Memorial Room has become a centerpiece of that tribute. A reminder, if you know someone making a difference for others, let me know by email at mbush@ksdk.com. The 2025 Florissant Veterans Day Parade kicked off this morning. It's been a community tradition for 22 years now. Hundreds of veterans and their families came out to support our nation's heroes. The parade began at Bangert Park and ended at the VFW Post 4105 for a festival filled with food, music, and more. The Veterans Coalition of Greater St. Louis was there to honor several local veterans. All right, Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is back with another look at our weather impact forecast. And be sure to put on your coat in the morning, right, Scott?
I think, coat, extra layers. We're going to need to find that winter wear heading out the door. We're talking temperatures starting in the 20s, but only 39 for the high tomorrow. We're back into the 20s again tomorrow night, but Tuesday afternoon will begin a warming trend. Now, what you don't see here is an opportunity for much rain, certainly during the upcoming work week, maybe by the weekend. More on that in a few minutes. Also, don't see much of a chance for snow here outside of flurries. You're looking at a lot of it around the Great Lakes. South Bend tonight, up here in northwestern portions of Indiana, just getting a real pounding right now as that lake effect snow band is working down. We get into the higher resolution Doppler radar, all of this dark blue here that's just now coming on shore in Chicago and just pushing in down there towards Hobart and into northwest Indiana. That is snow at the rate of 2, maybe 3 inches per hour. There's going to be some rough going travel-wise there early tomorrow. For us, we don't have to deal with that. Couple of flurries overnight, maybe early tomorrow morning. 20 to 26 your temperatures out the door tomorrow. 10 to 20 degrees on the wind chill. So yes, the hat, the gloves, you need it all tomorrow as it feels like January in St. Louis. We're down to 28 with a wind chill of 17 right now. 45 was our high, 28's the low. So far, at midnight, or 11:59, we'll actually get our low temperature for today in the books. Overnight, we drop back into the low and mid-20s. Again, a hard freeze for everybody. Tomorrow morning, that breeze is still with us. The wind chills 10 to 20 degrees tomorrow morning. So extra layers getting the kids out the door. One more hard freeze for Tuesday morning, and then we'll see temperatures start to warm up. So it is a cold start on Veterans Day, but then we're back into the 50s. Wednesday and Thursday, 60s. Looks like 70s for Friday and Saturday. Our next chance of rain won't arrive until we get into late Saturday night and into Sunday. Showers, maybe some thunderstorms, certainly a possibility as we head toward that time frame. How strong that system's going to be and how much moisture it can drag in here from the Gulf, that remains to be seen. We're going to keep our eyes on it. We desperately need the rain, and that's really our only opportunity out of the next 7 days. Cold tomorrow, still breezy, 39 for the high, 56 on Veterans Day, low 70s by the end of the week. If this 7-day forecast doesn't scream so St. Louis to you, up, and then we cool off a little bit by Sunday into next week, but not a drastic cool down as those temperatures back off to about average by early next week. And again, our rain chances, not until Saturday night into Sunday.
It's time to go on the move. I'm Paul Cook, your traffic guy from Today in St. Louis. Drivers who use southbound Interstate 270 near Interstate 6440 are in for some big changes this week. Weather permitting, MoDOT crews will be shifting southbound lanes on I-270 near I-64 tomorrow night through Wednesday. Crews will close 2 to 3 lanes each evening. Those lanes will stay closed overnight, reopening around 5 a.m. At least one lane will remain open at all times. Then Thursday morning, 3 of those southbound lanes will be pushed to the right so work can be done in the center of the interstate. The work is part of the ongoing project to replace the I-270 bridge over Conway Road and the widening of the I-270 bridge over Ladue Road. It's going to be a big change for drivers, so slow down and leave plenty of room between you and the car in front of you. Stay safe out there. Paul Cook, 5 on your side.
Flights delayed and canceled across the country. The shutdown's impact on airports. The Department of Homeland Security says shots were fired at federal agents in Chicago's Little Village neighborhood. This happened as agents were conducting immigration enforcement operations. The department says a man driving a black Jeep fired shots before taking off. No one was hit. The suspect is still at large. According to Homeland Security, there was also a number of agitators, that's what they say, throwing bricks and paint at Border Patrol vehicles. Witnesses say the agents were trying to find a young girl's dad when this all started. The FAA is taking action following last week's deadly UPS cargo plane crash in Louisville. That crash killed at least 14 people and many more are still missing. The agency announced it's grounding all MD-11 cargo planes until safety inspections are complete. Investigators say in the Kentucky crash, the plane's engine detached during takeoff. The cause is still unknown. Officials say the grounding is being done out of an abundance of caution. Investigations into the crash could take up to a year. Now to a live look at St. Louis Lambert International Airport, where officials have confirmed at least 9 flights were canceled there today due to the government shutdown. Officials tell us they usually only get about 2 to 3 cancellations a day. This is just a small taste of what other airports across the country have been facing. Airports face staffing shortages because federal workers haven't been paid. As we told you at the top, there is hope tonight that the shutdown will soon be over, but flyers are wary with good reason. Here's Jen Sullivan.
Passengers at airports across the country are dealing with mass flight delays and cancellations.
Our first flight, it got delayed an hour and then another hour, and now it's delayed 3 hours, so we are missing our connecting flight.
At Newark Liberty International Airport in New Jersey, hundreds of flights were affected Saturday.
I had a flight going from here to Charlotte, and then they canceled my flight.
With the government shut down, millions of federal workers are not getting paid. TSA agents and air traffic controllers are still expected to come to work, but many are calling out because they can't afford the gas to come in or childcare costs.
They feel desperate, hopeless, mad. And there's just appears to be no end in sight.
The sick calls are causing staffing shortages at airports and aviation support facilities across the country. And without enough staff, they cannot operate safely.
I have more complaints coming into the FAA from pilots who are saying that air traffic controllers are not as responsive.
The FAA says it will gradually reduce air traffic by up to 10% by November 14th at 40 major airports. The decision could cut thousands of flights a day. The weather is also playing a factor. Parts of the Midwest and northern New England are seeing snow or heavy rain. There was also dense fog in Los Angeles Sunday. All of this coming right before Thanksgiving.
It's only going to get worse. You're going to see air travel be reduced to a trickle.
As of 3:30 Sunday afternoon, more than 7,000 flights were delayed nationally and nearly 2,100 were canceled, according to FlightAware. Jen Sullivan, 5 on your side.
The good news, it seems like the shutdown may soon be over. A class of third graders helped save a dog from a burning home. The life lessons they learned from outside the classroom window. At Thomas Hart Benton Elementary School in Independence, Missouri, a group of quick-thinking third graders went from an ordinary reading lesson to watching a real-life rescue. On Thursday, some of the kids looked out their classroom window and saw a house on fire. So they told the teacher, Mrs. Hudson, who called 911. Not long after, fire crews responded and rescued a dog from the house and gave the pet oxygen. No one else was home. The kids saw the rescue from beginning to end, some real-world education from their classroom.
The dog was kind of lethargic at first, and then towards the end, he was wagging his tail and super happy. So it was a really cool moment for my kiddos.
It's truly about humanity, right? What it means to step up and do something to help out your fellow neighbor.
Some of the firefighters went to visit Mrs. Hudson's class, showing off their gear and reminding kids that when they see a fire, get out and call 911. All right, Scott has one final check of our cold weather.
Yeah, make sure that smoke detector has batteries tonight because the furnace is coming on. Temperatures down into the 20s, wind chills in the teens. Early tomorrow, only 39 for the high.
There you have it, a late edition of 5 on your side at 10. Remember, we're always streaming on 5+.